You probably have heard him on Sirius XM Radio, on Blue Collar Radio, on Dry Bar Comedy. You might have seen him on CMT's 20 Greatest Redneck Moments. I want you to give a big welcome, Orlando welcome, for comedian Rik Roberts.
Pretty good? Good. Well, welcome to the second half of the show. One more round of applause for all the first half performers, good buddies of mine. Thought it was a great show so far. I'm excited to be here, and I just want to encourage your generosity tonight. I've learned firsthand that generosity breeds generosity, and recently my wife called me when I was traveling and said, you know what, we just sent in our final house payment, and I could not believe it. I said, is that right? She goes, well, it's not paid off. That's just the final payment we're going to send in, all right? So, but now we've got financial peace, and I'm excited about that, and everything's going real good. Yeah, I grew up in Kentucky, moved to Nashville a while back, but just went back for a high school reunion. How many folks been to a high school reunion? Yeah. You don't really need to go anymore. That's the best part, you know? You go once, you go, that's enough of it, right? People will just say anything. One girl I went to school with, hadn't seen her in forever. She goes, Rick, is that you? Have you had some work done? I'm like, well, first off, what part of me looks like it's been tweaked, all right? I need to take my receipt back if this is the after picture, you know? But I'm not going to see her for another 20 years. I just played along. I'm like, oh, yeah, a few weeks ago, I got the Steve Buscemi eye transplant. And let me tell you what, it's taken really hold. And I got the old Nicolas Cage forehead expansion. That's looking pretty good. Get a lot of money back from taxes. Maybe the Betty White ankle tuck for bathing suit season. You know, we'll see what happens. But I've looked a little older than I should because I'm trying to eat better, man. I've got high cholesterol, 425. Yes. That's the highest in my county, so I get to go to regionals in a couple of weekends. I've been eating butter to get my numbers up. Juicing, right? Yeah, my doctor didn't laugh. He goes, you need to immediately change your diet and your exercise programs. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I don't have either program going on right now. I said, what kind of exercise do you think I should do? He looked right at me and said, why don't you ride a bike 3 or 4 times a week for an hour? I said, I'll tell you why not. I'm 51. It's not that I can't do it, but let's be honest. You see a man my age on a bicycle, you don't instantly think he's exercising, do you? Do you? You're like, that guy had a repo or a DUI, right? Right? And if you're not laughing, you rode here on a bike, and that's okay. We'll work through it. Now, I didn't want to be a guy on a bike, and then he said, you can get on a diet and come back. I got on the Atkins diet because I like to eat meat, but that's a hard one to stick with. You ever get on the Atkins diet? Supposed to eat meat 4 or 5 times a day. Then it says smoke a cigarette and take a nap. That was the Chet Atkins diet that I got on, and if you don't know who he is, you probably don't have high cholesterol. Then he said, we can put you on medication. I said, no, I've seen those commercials, side effects like crazy, right? I got on Lipitor. They left out the side effect on that commercial, $8 a pill. That's a side effect. That's a Big Mac and a side of fries side effect, $8. And they're little. One more, I got to take my pill, and I dropped it and couldn't find it, and I was out $8. So now I just wrap it up in a piece of bacon, swallow it whole every morning. Just melt some cheese on there so it sticks real good. You get a toothpick in there, that's a pill and a blanket. That's right. Sell that to Pfizer. Yeah, my friends are trying to get me healthy. One of my friends trying to trick me, though. I mean, if you want to help me, just help me. Don't try to trick me. He bought me a thing called an Impossible Burger and tried to sneak that in on me. You ever have somebody try to sneak you in? Oh, man. It's not horrible. It's just not good. There's a big stretch of what it should be and what it is. And I took one bite. I'm like, what is that? He goes, oh, man, you figured it out. That's a bunch of plants squished together to taste like meat. I'm like, you're talking about hamburger helper. That's what you're talking about. But this ain't helping no burger at all. And to me, a burger without meat is like a church without Jesus. It just don't make no sense, Don't make no sense. Then he said, don't give up. In a few months, Kentucky Fried Chicken is rolling out chickenless chicken. Have we lost our minds in this country? That's a real thing. I mean, if I bite into a wingding and it tastes like a green bean, we're going to fight, all right? Bring it. Colonel Sanders rolling over in his finger-licking grave right now, ain't he? Put the bucket on his head and rolled right on over. But my friend's real nice, and I said, you know what? You bought me a couple meals. I want to get you the best meal you've ever had, right? Took him to Golden Corral. Love Golden Corral. I went and got a big bowl. I said, hold on, I'll get you food. Got a big bowl, put some pork chops in there. They had bacon, and they had a breakfast sausage. I put it right in front of him. He's like, ugh, what is that? I'm like, that is an impossible salad. That's what that is. It's livestock that identifies as produce. That's what's happening right there. So. What kind of dressing you want, gravy or gravy? I do try to eat a lot of chicken. Chicken's supposed to be healthy for you. I like Chick-fil-A. They're nice people, but I heard about a story last year. It blew my mind. A lady in San Antonio, Texas, was driving to the hospital, couldn't make it, pulled over at a Chick-fil-A and had a baby there because she knew it'd be clean and they'd be nice people. That's some pretty good PR right there. You know, nobody's having babies at Arby's. You know what I'm saying? It's just. They don't got the babies. They got the meats, but they ain't got the babies. And I didn't know, the rest of the story until a couple weeks ago. Apparently, the guy that ran that Chick-fil-A said that family and that baby can eat there for free till the child turns 14 years old. I didn't know it worked like that. I told my wife. Right. I said, honey, if we're going to have another baby, it's going to be at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, because that's... I ain't paying $18 for mashed potatoes twice, I tell you that. That waiter brings up my bill. Sir, it's $120. I don't think so. Have you met my baby, Ruth? We call her Loophole, but we're going to eat for free here, buddy. I don't know. It's all part of getting older. Got to make healthier choices. I got to because I got younger kids. I'm 51. I got a 14-year-old son and a 7-year-old baby girl. I know. Thanks for the proper response. You're just like, oh. And if that's not enough, recently my wife has started talking about adoption. I'm like, honey, I know my heart's in the same place as yours. But I don't think anybody is going to take these kids off our hands at this point. Start with the little one. I barely know her. Now, I wouldn't trade them for nothing, but some things are harder when you're older with little kids. You just got to own up to it. Like, you ever try to clip a baby's fingernails when you got on your bifocals? It's like, it's like playing whack-a-mole on a teeter-totter. Where'd you go, honey? Come back. But the kids now, I love my kids, and my 14-year-old, he's good. You know, he stays off the technology for the most part, but my littlest one wants it. I said, what do you want for Christmas? You know what she wanted? She goes, Papa, I need an iPad Air, 64 gigabytes with a built-in Wi-Fi plan. I'm like, I'll give you mine in 10 years after I buy one, but I don't even have one right now. I said, how about something else? She comes right back, she goes, how about an iPhone? I'm like, you're 7. Who you calling, the Justin Bieber support line? You don't need an iPhone. I said, go outside and do what I did when I was your age. Just get a stick and play with that. Give it a name. Get a wireless stick and see how that works out. 64 hickory nuts. Get a good one, all right? So I'm trying to keep her off of it. My older kid, he's 14. I had not prepared for how smart a 14-year-old kid can be. I was never as smart as he is. But he's still 14. Socially, he's still a little bit awkward. Even in the house, sometimes he doesn't know when to say something and when just to keep it to himself. And if you're a parent, sometimes the stuff your kids say scares you, and the other time it makes you laugh, doesn't it? Like the other night, tucking my boy into bed, I'm like, hey, buddy, hope you have sweet dreams. He looks up at me and goes, I hope you're still breathing when I wake up in the morning. What do you know that I don't know? Mama switching my medication when I'm gone. I was awake the next morning. I didn't sleep a wink that whole night. I had to keep my head on a swivel. And even though that was funny later on, sometimes he'll say stuff funny in the moment and I can't laugh at all. Like we're brushing our teeth one night, and well, that sounded wrong. Every night we brush our teeth, all right? I could feel it. You guys like, he's from Tennessee. He did it once. Next year we floss monthly. We're going to do it. But one night while we're brushing our teeth, he's looking in the mirror at him, then he looks over at me, then back at him, and back at me, and just real weird. I'm like, what's the matter, bud? He says, nothing the matter, but I just noticed me and you were starting to look alike. I said, well, yeah, what do you think about that? He goes, what are you going to do? You're going to go to bed early for starters. That's what you're going to do. And in 40 years, you'll need a Nicolas Cage forehead expansion. That's what's going to happen to you. I'm going to close your door all the way. Hope you're still breathing when I wake up in the morning. Crazy kids. But they're good kids. Got a great wife, phenomenal wife. Got blessed there. And we've been married for 17 years, and I still haven't figured her out. And right when I do, she changes, and I got to relearn and recalibrate. And she's got to do the same for me, but they should put that in the wedding vows, right? They say for richer, poorer, healthier, sicker, but how about a whole new person in about 10 years? You okay with that? You know what she told me once? She goes, I want you to communicate more, but I don't want you to talk. I said, can I talk now? No, you know what I said? I said, I was thinking the same thing about you, but I didn't know how to say it. Of course I didn't say that, but I was thinking it real loud. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, sometimes we sit down and we talk for like 30 minutes, but we haven't said nothing. And I said, if you recall, when I would say something, I'd get in trouble, had to go sleep on the couch. I said, I'm just trying to be, straight down the middle. She goes, well, if you're thinking something, just tell me, because I'm tired of trying to read your mind. And it was right before Valentine's Day, this time last year. I said, well, here's something that's on my mind. I'm out of ideas of stuff to buy you for presents and surprise you with. 17 years, 4 or 5 presents a year. I said, I can't surprise you, but is there something you would like that I haven't got you? And she looked at me. She goes, oh, yeah. How about instead of exchanging gifts this year, we exchange ideas to each other on a piece of paper instead? I said, what kind of ideas? She said, I'm going to write down a couple things you're not doing right around the house you can do better. And you can write down a couple about, I'm like, stop right there. That's like a trap door on an escalator, I said, you want me to tell you something you're not doing right, and you're going to tell me something I'm not doing right, and that's a romantic Valentine's Day? She goes, well, if we fix those 6 or 7 things. I'm like, she's got a list started already. 6 or 7? I'm down 6-0, didn't know I was even playing the game. And here's how dumb I am. I go, well, if that's what you want to do, it sounds fine with me. Because I was thinking I don't have to go shopping or spend any money. It won't cost me nothing. Then I realized it could cost me the house. So we had 2 weeks. I knew she had 6 on me. I struggled to find anything she was doing wrong. Things you can do different? Sure. So that's what I made my list with. We go to Valentine's Day dinner, waiting for the food. Takes forever that night of the year. I shouldn't have gone, but 45 minutes goes by. I said, what am I not doing right? She goes, here's the big thing. If I ask you to fix something around the house, can you do it the same year I ask you to do it? I said, well, give me an example. She goes, I'll ask you to change a light bulb in the fixture. You will wait till every single light bulb in there burns out. Then you change them all in the dark. I said, that's why they got the extra light bulbs, duh. Yeah. I did not say that, but I was thinking it real loud. I said, honey, I'll try harder. She goes, what about me? I said, I want to be crystal clear. You're not doing nothing wrong. I don't even think about things like that. But one thing I miss, before we had our kids 14 years ago, if I was home on the weekend, you make me this big old breakfast. I know it took a long time and you got your schedule and the kids, but man, I miss that big old breakfast. And I looked back across the table and she had started tearing up and crying right there at the Hardee's. And I know. On Valentine's Day. I'm like, hold it together. You don't get a soggy thick burger here. I said, that's a compliment. You cook great. She goes, I didn't think you liked my breakfast cooking. That's why I quit. I'm like, honey, when you burn bacon, that's the best. It gets all crispy, and after the fire department leaves, we sit down and have a nice meal. You know, it works out fine. She goes, well, that's good that we talked it out. Now I know. And fellas, it works to communicate, because the very next morning I wake up, 6 a.m., I smell maple syrup and pancakes, and I run downstairs, and my wife had bought a candle somewhere that smells exactly. You ever been hungry and mad at 6 a.m.? I bet it's a Yankee candle too, you know? Southern candle let you sleep into about noon. What? I hit the bottom step. I'm like, what are you doing with that candle? It's like, I had to use it. The last light bulb just burned out. I'm like, oh. But I love my family. I get to take them on trips sometimes too, like the other comics, but sometimes they don't want to go. I had to drive across Kansas last summer. How many folks ever drive across Kansas? Oh, survivors. Good to see you out there. I mean, I knew it was going to be flat. I didn't know you had to bring your own people. I had no idea. That tornado from the Wizard of Oz took everybody, didn't it? And I learned the hard way the highway patrol has to be extra sneaky because they don't have nothing to hide behind. They drive unmarked cars, or else you would see them 6 or 7 hours away and slow down. I'm driving, guy goes flying by me in a Trans Am. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep up with that guy. He's probably got a radar in there. Well, he had the radar and I did not detect it, apparently. You know, I thought he had a radar detector is what I meant to say. So I'm trying to keep up with this guy, right? At the time I had my Dave Ramsey truck, 1996, 3 out of 4 cylinder, a Suzu pickup truck. That's a woman getter right there, ain't it, ladies? I mean, probably not around here, but it worked in Arkansas where I met my wife. But he goes flying by. I start trying to catch up to him. Then he slowed down, and then he would speed up. Then he started swerving and really kicking up gravel. I'm like, this guy has fallen asleep behind the wheel. I should get his attention and see if he's okay. You ever been so stupid you pulled the cops over? Anybody else? We're talking paperwork, let me tell you. I don't know how to pull anybody over. I just start flipping my one good high beam at him for a while and roll down the window. I'm like, boo, boop, boop, boop. I've been working on that. It came out pretty good, didn't it? I've been working on it. Man, I did my siren I must have swallowed 13 skeeters before he pulled over. And I know y'all get big skeeters because they don't die down here. They just keep growing and getting bigger and stronger and eating iguanas that have fallen out of trees when it gets cold. But but then he's over, and I wait for him to get out of his vehicle, but he never gets out. Then I start thinking maybe he had a heart attack. I was worried, so I charge up to his vehicle, full speed. I just start pounding on the window. Meanwhile, he's been loading the revolver on the other side. Then he cracks the window, and I see he's an officer. I got zero game plan. But I start thinking I should arrest him for reckless driving before he gets me for speeding. But I don't know how to arrest anybody. All I know is from watching the Andy Griffith Show my entire life. Like Barney Fife. I just walk up there, I'm like, hey! You want to get out of the vehicle there, buddy? You're a big one, too, aren't you? Look at you. Want to know why I pulled you over? Because I'm an idiot. I thought I was going to prison right there. He's like, you're so weird, I'll drop you off wherever you want to go. Now, I wish. He was mad, threw me in the backseat of his squad car, locked me in there, got on his shoulder, CB. 5 minutes later, 6 more po-pos start rolling up. I hadn't seen 6 people all week in Kansas. Now we got a whole party. He gets back in. He's like, first off, who pulled over who? I said, man, I know it's confusing and awkward, but I was worried about you. You were swerving. I thought you'd fallen asleep or something. He said, swerving? I was trying to get behind you to pull you over for speeding, but you wouldn't let me. I said, but you never turned on your lights or your sirens. I didn't know who you were. He goes, oh, well, you got me there. They went out on me yesterday. I'm like, well, I'll let you go if you let me go. Well, that'll be on in a few weeks if you want to see me on Cops. They had the cameras rolling. Hey, y'all been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming out to the show tonight and helping us raise some awareness. I appreciate it.